Interleague play continues tonight for the Colorado Rockies as they're across the bay, the East Bay, taking on the Oakland Athletics from the O.CO Coliseum. Still getting used to that new name for the Coliseum. The Rockies need to turn things around. We mentioned that they're 0 for their last 14 in American League ballparks. They've also gone 0-7 this year against the American League. Jorge De La Rosa against Chris Bassett tonight on a beautiful Northern California early evening. Charlie Backman provided the entire offense for the Rockies last night with his 10th home run of the year. It came late against Evan Scribner. Here's the Rockies lineup, complete with the DH, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Following Charlie will be Troy Tulowitzki. The Rockies won't like to do this when they have the DH slide everybody up. So Arenado will hit third, Cargo fourth, Willeen fifth, Paulson, who had a base hit last night, McHenry is doing the catching tonight, Brandon Barnes, and DJ is batting ninth. Again, Walt likes to have that extra leadoff hitter, if you will, in the 9 spot, and that's why LeMahieu drops down from his customary 2 spot to the 9 spot. Here's the young right-hander out of Akron, Chris Bassett. He's not that young. He's 26. He played for a number of years for the Akron Zips in the MAC.
Yeah, 16th round draft pick back in 2011. Big guy, 6'5", 210 pounds, 12 major league games, 6 start tonight. And 1-1 with the 379 career. And
Huey, as we alluded to a few moments ago during the Open, he has a pretty big arm. I mean, he's 93 to 95, will touch 96.
Well, and the thing that's comforting for him is he's throwing to Josh Begley, who they worked together over in the White Sox system. So they came over here in the Jeff Samardzija deal. It came as a package along with Marcus Semien.
Bob Melvin, 2 strikes quickly on the Rockies leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon. 79 degrees our game time temperature. It always feels a little warmer when you move across the bay and you're a little more inland than it does in the evening in San Francisco. And that's a line drive, but right at Ben Zobrist. So Ben Zobrist in left field one night, in the infield at second base the next night. And let's take a look at the gloves for the A's this evening. They've substituted out some of their left-handed bats. Mark Canha is in left field. Billy Burns again in center. Sam Fuld gets the start in right. And then it's Laurie, Semien, Zobrist, and Vogt in the infield with Josh Begley doing the catching. So Vogt, keep his bat in the lineup, goes to first base. Josh Reddick, Ike Davis added there this evening. 2 prominent left-handed bats who figured prominently in the victory last night in the first inning. Both hit 2-run home runs. So Tulo with that 13-game hitting streak takes ball 1. 3 for 3 and a walk last night. And everything was in the middle of the field last night. All of his base hits.
And that was a good sign, but I also saw a lot during batting practice today. And I think he's just right on the verge of increasing some of those power numbers. Because at first it starts with the work in the center of the field, and you could just tell the timing is getting there. And for Troy last night, 3 for 3 and a walk. Had a walk in his first at bat. And then you could have just thrown a blanket out in center field because they all hit in about the same area. All played on 1 hop by Burns.
And Laurie comes and gets that hop, and he throws out Tulo for the second out. Now, that was well done. It's not a difficult play for Laurie, but you make it not a difficult play by being really aggressive and getting that good hop.
Well, and you know you're going to have some ground balls from the big guy in Bassett. As I mentioned, he's very similar to Kendall Graveman. He throws harder, but he tries to do the same thing, especially to the right-handers, trying to bore that fastball into the hands. So what you have to do is you have to, if it looks like it's going to be on the corner inside, let it go, because it's going to work off the plate.
Here's Nolan. He was 1 for 4 last night. Kind of served a pitch, maybe even out of the strike zone away. He kind of just blocked it to center field for a single. So he's now hitting 16 straight, which is the longest hitting streak in baseball. Billy Burns had hit 16 straight going into last night, the A's center fielder. This ball is going to be caught in right field and foul ground by Sam Fuld to end the inning. Burns had his 16-game hitting streak snapped last night. We'll see Jorge when we come back to Oakland. Ball bastion, Mercer University in Georgia.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I think for Buster Posey, the Georgia native, it came down to Florida State, Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Mercer. The starting lineup for Oakland tonight brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Burns will lead things off. Stephen Vogt, Ben Zobrist, and then Billy Butler had a big game last night. Josh Begley, they like him a lot. They like his bat. They like his throwing arm behind the plate. Brett Laurie, Mark Cano bats 7th, Marcus Semien, and Sam Fuld. I'm only kidding Billy Burns and Mercy. That's one of the things I love about baseball, that they come from all different places. I'm sure they have a great program down there at Mercy. You see players from NAIA schools, JUCO schools, D2, D3. It's one of the beautiful things about this sport.
That's why I love this sport, because anybody can play it. And tonight for Jorge De La Rosa, mentioned in his last start that he's given up only 1 earned run in those 5 innings. Well, 3 or few runs in 6 out of his last 7. Pitching very well out on the road. Mentioned his starts 2-1 with a 186.
He has not faced the A's since 2009. Was not involved in that series in 2012 when the Rockies were swept at Coors Field.
And he won that start back in 2009. Went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs.
One of the big keys to that 09 season, this ball's well hit to left field by Billy Burns, and moving back to the edge of the track and making the catch is Brandon Barnes. So a long out. One of the big keys in that 2009 season, which ended with the Rockies winning 92 ball games. Unfortunately, they did not capture that 4th game of the divisional series against the Philadelphia Phillies. But in many ways, it may have been the best Rockies team.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. And the fact that they kept that rotation intact for the vast majority of 2009, a huge reason. Well, you think back to it, and Baldo was part of it, Jorge De La Rosa, Aaron Cook.
Yeah, there was only 3 or 4 other guys that made more than 1 start during that 2009 season, but it wasn't very many guys.
No. Another opportunity for Barnes, perhaps, if he can get there, and he will. Great jump by Brandon, and he robs Stephen Vogt.
Let's flash back to 2009, June 27th to be exact, when Jorge was pitching against the Oakland Athletics. 96 pitches in the 6 innings. He's using his forkball, his big bender, the curveball.
And this is weird. I didn't see Matt Holliday in an Oakland uniform.
Just going to say that it still doesn't seem right when he was wearing the green and gold and white.
We mentioned Matt Holliday, and you have to talk a little bit about the Cardinals. They've lost Matt Adams. You know, Matt's had the quad injury. They lost Adam Wainwright very early. They've won 6 straight. They are 9 games up in the competitive National League Central. What are they now, 27 games above 500?
Yes, they are, going into tonight. Only team in baseball to have over 50 wins.
It is remarkable how consistent they are.
Don't forget, they also lost a couple of relievers. Jordan Walden, he was hurt, one of their 8th inning guys.
Yes.
Props to Mike Matheny.
Now, props to the guys that take the field every night. They just find a way to win. They're 51-24. I mean, the Pirates under Clint are 42-33. They're 9 games above 500. At this juncture of the season, just short of the midway point, you say, boy, we're in a great place. You're 9 out. The Cubs are 5 games above 500. They're 11 out. That pitch misses. Zobrist will go down to first. Billy Butler with 2 outs will come up.
Number 16, Billy Butler.
Ty Waller, first base coach, visiting with Zobrist.
Ty's been in the A's system a long time. He worked down in the minor leagues. He was their minor league director. He's been first base coach, outfield coach, third base. He's done it all here for the A's.
I was visiting just a few minutes ago with Ron Washington. We rode up the elevator together and hadn't seen Ron since, you know, he was with Texas. And as we discussed last night, back with Oakland. It's kind of like Mike Gallego. You and I both got a chance to visit with Gags today. And, you know, they, just like the Rockies, try to keep the guys that played for them, the guys that have worked in their system, close. And you know, Gags back there. There's Wash now, a member of the A's coaching staff. He's working with their young players, particularly up the middle. He was talking about working with Simeon and Sogard. Good pitch, strike 3, and Butler frozen. So a walk, but that's the only blemish in the first frame for Jorge De La Rosa. No scores. We go to the second at the Coliseum in Oakland. Great curveball. Oakland Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. You know what our director Mike Fox did today? Hitchhiked across the Golden Gate Bridge to Sausalito. Now, he actually walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, somehow made his way to Sausalito, and then took the ferry back.
You can ride a bike over there and do that.
And look at some of the photos he shot today. How pretty is that? Spectacular. And then he added some sound effects to it. Cargo's leading off the second for the Rockies against Chris Bassett. And he takes high, ball one. Cargo 0 for 3 and a walk last night, playing against his former club. He's had a solid June. Today's the final day in the month of June. Just under 300 average, hit 6 home runs. Fouls that pitch back. 3 on the right side for Cargo. Simeon's more directly up the middle. Ben Zobrist, since he plays a lot of outfield, has decided I'm going to play
Rover.
He's about 25, 30 feet out onto the
Kennedy
grass.
Park and watch some softball games. You'll see somebody playing that position.
Exactly. This ball's hit the center field, and Burns will retreat and make the catch. 1 out. 1 gone, and Willeen Rosario will come up. We were reflecting back on that 2009 season, Huey, and that rotation that stayed intact the whole year. It was Ubaldo. It was the aforementioned Aaron Cook, obviously De La Rosa, Jason Hamill. And remember, Jason Marquis was an all-star that year. He had the beautiful first half.
11, 12 wins, Dougie? 12 wins?
Those 5 made 155 starts for the Rockies. And there at least 7 games. Franklin Morales made 2. Josh Fogg made 1. Jose Contreras with the big forkball made 2. Jolie Chassin was young pitcher. He made 1. And Esmil Rogers made 1. Quickly 2 strikes on Willeen.
But that makes everything easier as a manager. When you roll out every day you can say, I want this pitcher, the next day this pitcher, and roll them out for 155 games. Makes your bullpen more efficient.
Well, 2 things to your point. One, you're rolling out the same 5 guys, and they're all having success, so you want to roll them out.
True.
And then when you don't have to deviate, it's kind of like a hitter, and you've mentioned this many times. If you know that, oh, you know what, I'm leading off 9 games out of 10. I know that I'm hitting third. Relievers know, hey, when the 7th inning rolls around, the phone rings, it's probably my number.
I think that's more important for relievers more than anybody. They like to have their role defined out in the bullpen. They like to know if it's a 6th inning, the phone rings, it's whoever. In the 7th, this guy's got it in the 8th and the 9th. They like to have those smooth waters.
And this ball's punched to second. Zobrist, the versatile one. Different arm angles. You watch that, Huey. You played some second base. You know, Zobrist had the long arm going last night in the outfield. He threw that right over the top, which ordinarily on that throw from a second baseman, it's a little sidearm flip, right?
Yeah, it's just a nice, easy one. But for Ben, he has to make sure that he knows what he's doing. So he catches it, and then over the top, but still threw it correctly. He didn't guide it to first.
No, and it's fine. It's just you don't usually see that from a second baseman. You see drop down on the clock a little bit.
Ben was taking ground balls at short today. So he catches it, and then like a catcher, see how he comes right by his ear, and then fires to first base.
It's a curveball for a strike. Bassett. 2 strikes on Ben Paulson. Rockies last night, just 7 hits, the home run by Blackman, and 6 singles. That was after swinging the bats pretty well across the bay at AT&T. Rockies had 16 runs there in 3 games.
Make a play.
And the bullpen.
He made a play. protecting those guys in the bullpen. Because I don't think they were prepared.
They are not prepared. Nobody has a glove on. Bassett with a strikeout of Ben Paulson, his first, and he has retired the first 6 he has faced tonight, making an emergency start for the A's.
A's fans, get ready for more.
The Oakland A's and a former Rockies coach. He was also teammates with Walt Weiss back in the day. They were teammates here with the A's. They turned double plays together. In fact, they played 204 games together, including the postseason. They won in 1989, and Gallego thinks that Walt Weiss might be an original baseball rat.
He was like a kid on the field. He wanted to play till the lights turned on the streets because he loved taking ground balls, and he would take hundreds and hundreds of ground balls. And I remember telling him, you know, hey, you're showing us old dudes up. And he kind of laughed about it and said, you know, he was concerned, but the next day he was back out there taking his hundreds of ground balls.
Gallego played on the A's from 1985 to 1991 and again in 1995. But when he talked about Walt Weiss, he smiled and he said his style was so fluid. And even though I kind of joke with how many ground balls he took, I could watch him all day long. It was like poetry and watching him. And I asked Gallego if he was surprised when Walt took a managerial job. And he said, you know, I really was. I was shocked about it. But at the end of the day, this guy's baseball IQ is so high. And to see him in his element, Gallego said, I wish I could have had a chance to play for him.
DJ throws out Josh Phegley. I want to embellish a little bit of that story, Jenny, because those two guys have some similarities. They are closet funny. In other words, at first brush, you might not know that. Mike Gallego is a very funny man, and Walt Weiss has one of the driest sense of humors you'll ever see. And together, when they're together, it can be uproariously funny.
And there's something about the bond between a shortstop and a second baseman. So you get two guys that are funny in their own way, and then they get together and they make each other laugh. But for Gags, he played 13 years in the big leagues from 85 to 97, 4 postseasons. Didn't hit much, hit 239 for his career, but boy, could he play second base.
How fast were his hands turning too?
They were lightning quick. But that's what they needed on this A's team. You know, with he and Walt up the middle. And how many times do you win championships in postseason with rookies playing shortstop?
Yeah, 1989 world champs with young Walt Weiss there. Mike Gallego could tell a story. I had him tell a story he's told me several times in the past on when he was playing for the Yankees, one of the boss stories on George Steinbrenner. And I mean, you double over laughing. Gags, one of the game's great. He's very self-deprecating. You mentioned he had 239 in his career, and he'll talk to young players. He goes, you know what's tough? He goes, it's tough getting the big leagues, right? You think it's tough? He goes, how about hitting 230 and staying for 10 years? He goes, that's really tough.
That's one of the funniest stories I've heard. Because he's right.
Yeah,
he's right.
That just missed on Brett Laurie. One of the other things he'll do, and talking to young players, he said, hey, you know what? You're going to make errors. He goes, you get a ground ball hit to you, and he goes, you boot it. He goes, what should you be saying to yourself? And they'll look at him and go, hey, hit me another one, man. I hope the next one comes to me. Swung on and missed, and another strikeout. That's 2 for De La Rosa. That'll bring up Mark Canha. 2 outs, nobody on. And he says, you make another error. He goes, what'd you say? And they all kind of chime in and go, hit me another one. Absolutely. He goes, absolutely. I'm going to make the next play. And he goes, and if you boot that one, what are you saying? Everybody, they think they got it now. They go, hey, hit me another one. He goes, no, hit it to somebody else. So 2 outs, and Mark Canha playing left field tonight. De La Rosa with that last strikeout is sitting on 997 career strikeouts. That's a sharp slider for a strike. 3 away from 1,000 in his fine career. 800 as a Rocky.
That curveball notwithstanding, he's shown a good breaking pitch tonight. Curveball that he struck out Billy Butler on. He's had some hard sliders. And if you're wondering if that cut on his finger, if it's any particular pitch, no, it's all of them, because he still has to grab a seam with that finger.
I think you're right. He's got both the curveball and the slider tonight.
The curveball he has not broken out as much this year as he has in previous years. It's been primarily fastball, splitter, cutter on the season.
Here's the 1-2. Bounces that curveball. It was intentional. He spiked it, trying to get a chase from Mark Canha. 2-time All Pac-10 player at Cal Berkeley. Grew up in San Jose. Nice it for him to play for the Oakland A's. He was, briefly a Rocky. Rockies took him in a Rule 5 draft a couple off seasons ago and then traded him to Oakland. That's a pretty good arm by that third baseman. Who's that guy again?
Nolan
Arenado. We'll see Nolan pretty soon. Rockies will have McHenry leading off. No scores. We go to the third. Mike McHenry, Brandon Barnes, and DJ LeMahieu. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. RMDataStrongFan. Here's McHenry. And that takes a strike. Fastball at 93 from Bassett. 1-1, 3.94 ERA in 6 ball games, 5 starts last year with the White Sox. Again, part of that package of players they got for Jeff Samardzija. Simeon
almost played that into an error.
He's still working on his footwork, isn't he? He didn't come get that baseball. He almost played himself into an in-between hop.
And watch where his hands are, how deep they are and close to his body. There was no fluidity going through that play. He becomes locked in his position and gets on his heels, catches it deep. There's minor things that they're easily correctable, but you hate to have to continue to work on them every day at the big league level.
Brandon Barnes at the plate. Again, he's made 25 errors, or 24 errors. He made another one last night. He's made an error in each of his last 2 games. One of the things Ron Washington was telling us before the game, and he's been working with him on a daily basis, he said he's really got to get with him this winter and in spring training to fully get him comfortable in the big leagues. He's got a lot of ability. He wouldn't be playing shortstop in the big leagues if he didn't.
He's athletic, very athletic, but there's just minor things that are correctable. He has the arm to play shortstop. He's got the speed, but it's just reading the ball off the bat.
Made 7 more errors than Ian Desmond, who has the 2nd most errors in the game. Fastball at 95 off the plate, 2-2. Lanky Chris Barrett, or Bassett, I should say. A 16th round pick of the White Sox out of Akron in 2011. Mayhew on deck. Sliders off the plate, worked around that. It's 3-2 on Barnes.
Down in AAA Nashville, he was 2-6 in 12 games with a 3.71 ERA.
When he was up earlier for Oakland, working out of the pen, they didn't hit much against him, but he walked a lot of guys. He went down to Nashville, he didn't walk anybody.
Oh, it reminds me of the guy we were talking about last night, Kendall Graveman. Walked a lot of guys up here, went down there, figured out that's not going to work. I gotta straighten some things out. Quit walking guys, put extra guys on, and pitch to contact.
Slowly hit to third, and Laurie on the move. That's a pretty play. Brett Laurie throws out Brandon Barnes.
Laurie comes and gets this. Only option is to barehand it and then the throw to first base, all in one sweeping motion. The rule is when that ball's bounding, you want to go to your glove, but he knew that wasn't an option. His only option was try to barehand it and throw it over to first. One more look at this because it's worth looking at again. Catches off his left foot and then loads up on that right foot to make the throw.
One and one on LeMahieu. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special with Moss at Taco Bell. Ben Zobrist throws out LeMahieu. So the Rockies, first time through the lineup against Chris Bassett, do not produce a base runner. Middle of 3-0 score. Sports. Be sure to tell us where you're watching from on Twitter at @rootsports_RM. Utilize the hashtag #WhereWeRoot. Calming effect, isn't it? Splash of the Pacific Ocean. That pitch in there for a strike on Marcus Semien. 8-9-1 for the A's against Jorge De La Rosa. The only base runner he's allowed. A 2-out walk in the first has been Zobrist. 1 ball, 1 strike. Home plate umpire tonight is Ryan Blackney. Tom Hallions at first, Alfonso Marquez at second, Dan Bellino at third. Middle game of a 3-game set. No television tomorrow afternoon. And the Rockies head off to Arizona. That's foul. Play 4 games against the D-backs.
That's when you're glad that there's a dome in Arizona.
Last time the Rockies were down there, it was so pleasant that the roof was open all 3 ball games.
Not going to be open this weekend.
Spoken like a true Arizonan.
Why do you think I moved?
They kicked you out.
Either way. Been living in Colorado for 19 years now, and I never go back.
Swung on and missed. De La Rosa strikes out Semien. McHenry finishes the play at first base. That's the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Jorge. He looks like he's on his game. Sam Fold will come up. Rockies fans, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Utilize the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show some during the ball game. Sam Fuld hitting .308 over his last 17, takes a strike. He's in a horrendous
stretch.
Yeah, man.
7 for 76.
The game will make you cry at times, won't it?
Oh yeah, it will. It'll make you wonder why you chose this profession. And then when you're going good, there's nothing better. But it is you have to be mentally strong to play the game of baseball.
You have to be really tough mentally. You have to be resilient. The game will make you talk to yourself. You not always like what you have to say to yourself either.
I've answered a few times too.
Yeah. On the ground, foul.
The great Ricky Henderson used to talk to himself out on the bases and at the plate.
Ricky talked to himself whether things were going poorly, which they rarely were, or when they were going well. The great Ricky.
Stories is he'd strike out. He'd go, "That's okay, Ricky. You get him next time."
Yeah, there was that one, and there was a real famous Ricky story at the plate. Here's the 2-2. It's fouled off. Ricky goes to the plate. And he walks up. He goes, "Ricky, you're the best, man. You're the best." He's talking to himself. He's pumping himself up. And first pitch in there for a strike. Second pitch painted on the corner. Third pitch he fouls off. Fourth pitch is off the plate. Fifth pitch he swings and misses. He walks away. He goes, "That's all right, Ricky. You're still the best."
But that's what you have to do.
Yeah. And you know what? Ricky was the best. Best leadoff hitter in the history of the game. 3-2 on Sam Fuld. And that's inside, a walk to Fuld.
Check out the On Deck rooftop ticket package. It's available online only. It's the most affordable and flexible way to purchase rooftop tickets. Visit Rockies.com/rooftop for more information.
Billy Burns hit the ball well his first time, deep left field, tracked down by Brandon Barnes.
Well, this is a potential hit and run combination, maybe a bunt or a straight steal. They got the speed both places. Sam Fuld 6 for 8 and stolen bases. Gallego going through the signs.
Fuld stole 20 bases one year with Tampa. And Arenado makes the play. 2 outs, so Fuld at second base now. That'll bring up Stephen Vogt. First time a player's reached second base.
Nolan knows that he can't go get it all the way, but because of Billy hitting from the right side, has an extra half second to determine what he wants to do. So he laid back and gloved it and fired over their sidearm.
Vogt drove one to the warning track in left center in the first inning. And Barnes ran down. And there's a strike.
Tough cookie with runners in scoring position. 4th in the American League, 386. Jimmy Paredes leads the American League with runners in scoring position at 467.
Well, probably a lot of people wouldn't be able to guess this, but Vogt's tied for the American League lead in RBIs with 53. They're the guys that have really swung it well with runners in scoring position. Yeah, people wouldn't guess Jimmy Paredes, the former Astro. Prince Fielder's had a glorious year. That big uppercut of his.
Joe Mauer, the Twins, making a resurgence.
Yeah. The RBI leaders in the American League, there's 3 of them. Stephen Vogt and a couple of veteran guys with bigger names. Mark Teixeira and one Miguel Cabrera. Next best in the American League, Jose Bautista with 50. This is punched to third. Nolan's got it. And that is all for the A's. So Jorge does a nice job. He strands Sam Fuld at second base. We'll go to the 4th inning. Top of the order again for the Rockies, looking for their first base runner.
It's the old shell game, folks. Keep your
baseball on the real rare occasion you see an inside the Parker, especially with a guy that is a blur around the bases like D. Gordon. That's big fun. Charlie Blackmon lined to second, the hardest hit ball by the Rockies, first time through the lineup against Chris Bassett. Again, Bassett making an emergency start, called up from Nashville earlier today when it was determined that Sonny Gray was too ill to make the start. He's got flu-like symptoms, and this is an easy play in left for Canna. League leaders brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Current hitting streaks, longest in baseball. The Rockies have the top 2. Nolan has hit it 16 straight. Troy Tulowitzki, who comes to bat right now, has hit 13 in a row. Then Manny Machado, Paul Goldschmidt, and D. Gordon kept that streak alive with the home run.
14 seconds to get around the bases.
Remember your best time?
No.
Not something people normally time
wasn't
you.
That? Look for the Rockies to get after Bassett. The first time through the order, the guys are only hitting 194 against him. Second time through, 340.
Tulowitzki bounced one to third his first time. And Troy's in a ditch 0-2. Rockies 0-7 in interleague play this year. And if you go back to the start of 2012, the Rockies are 14-48 in interleague play, which is the worst in baseball. The A's, conversely, have the best mark during that time in baseball and interleague play. They're 40-23. And prior to that, the Rockies were among the best teams for a few year stretch in interleague play.
Well, all time, Oakland is 4th. They have the 4th best interleague record at 184 and 145. last time the National League won an interleague year was back in 2003.
You were recently retired. Tulo hitting .367 against American League clubs this year. He's held up his end of the bargain. Troy's now reaching 28 in a row. That's a new career best for Tulo. That too, along with his hitting streak, the longest active stretch going in baseball. About the only thing we haven't seen of late from Troy is that slipped. That was about 4 feet behind him. About the only thing we haven't seen, and you were talking about this, you think it's going to come, is Troy going on one of those home run binges.
I do. I just feel it. His swings are getting better, and this is just a slip. Whoopsie daisy behind the back of Troy.
I don't know how Fegley caught that.
He just reached his glove up. Like Petit throwing his glove behind his back the other day in San Francisco.
Slow curveball, and it's outside 3-2.
So from the 4 strike zone, try to figure out where he's going to throw this pitch.
Well,
you can't.
No, I know, and I'm trying to think if the pitch really should have been off the monitor, the other one. This ball line foul.
All that work. Oh, his buddy's going to give it to him. Okay. Oh, and then he knocks it out of his hand. I was going to say, all that work, you jump up, you knock it down, and then you don't even give the base. Oh.
How about that? I like that.
Yes, you should applaud him. He jumps up, knocks it down with his forearm. Yeah, I got it.
Troy lobs this to shallow left, and it's going to drop in front of Mark Canha. And Troy is now hitting 14 straight. The Rockies have their initial base runner of the game here with 1 out in the 4th inning.
Well, it doesn't matter how you extend it. You just did. And you give Nolan a chance to put a couple runs on the board.
Troy continues with his career best hitting streak, now improved to 14 games. Previous high coming into the year was 12. Arenado fouled out down the right field line to Sam Fuld. Brett Anderson of the Dodgers, former teammate. I love it. Nolan Arenado doesn't start at third for the National League All-Stars. You're all doing it wrong. We agree with you, Brett.
He's got to make that heavy rush the next couple days.
And, you know, we implore you to vote, and hopefully he's able to overcome the deficit. I don't think there's any question that Bruce Bochy's going to include him.
No, not at all, but he's just not going to start.
Right, and he deserves to start. USA Today, Jorge Ortiz is in town doing a piece on Nolan. You'll read in the next couple of days, I'm sure. It's good when guys get national attention, deserved national attention. He's a great writer. Ortiz does a marvelous job. And
I like reading his pieces.
Yeah. He's fully aware that 15 of the 24 home runs have come out on the road. Foul tip. We made sure of that.
Well,
he smiled. He said, no.
He smiled,
I
got it.
that.
But you don't want to leave any stone unturned.
Nope. One out, Tulo at first. 1-2 on Arenado. And this ball bounced through the left side. Base hit. And the Rockies have 2 men on, and it's now a 17-game hitting streak for Nolan Arenado.
Well, he saw some fastballs straight. This was a sinking fastball. Laurie, by the time he reacts, Marcus Semien tries to dive for it, but too much topspin for Nolan. It's always a great thing early in the game. It's here just the 4th inning, and you've extended a hit streak to 17 games. Troy did his to 14 games.
Now this is where you need one of those real high quality cargo at bats. The Rockies have lost 3 straight ball games. They haven't done much in the East Bay in 12+ innings of baseball against the A's offensively. 2 on, 1 out. And this is in the air to left field. An easy play for Canna. 2 gone. It'll be left to Aline Rosario.
Now batting, number 20, Aline Rosario.
Aline hit the ball on the ground his first time up to second baseman Ben Zobrist. That's down the right field line, but foul.
Oh, so Rockies in scoring position. We'll go around and look at the arms in the outfield for Canada and left field. Pretty average across the board for strength and accuracy. Out in center field, you're going to run on Billy Burns. He might be able to run it down with the speed, but just a little bit below average arm. And then Sam Foltz, same thing in right. And that's probably more as a center fielder, as a left fielder. As a right fielder, the strength wouldn't be what you would consider a right field arm. So look for Stu Cole. Any sort of base hit. Get on the board. Keep waving him.
Out front, it's 0-2. Moline 11 for his last 22. Working from behind, an 0-2 count against Chris Bassett. Top of the 4th inning, no score. And he went straight heat at 97. To strike out Rosario. Rockies leave 2 on. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Escape. Smart, safe, and fun to drive. Ford Escape, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. No score on a pretty night in the East Bay. The Rockies and A's going to the bottom of the 4th inning with Jeff Houston and Jenny Cavnar. I'm Drew Goodman. Jorge De La Rosa looking for his 5th win of the year. Ben Zobrist, Billy Butler, Josh Phegley, 3, 4, 5 for Bob Melvin's team here in the 4th inning. Rockies 33 at 43, the A's 35 and 44. Zobrist walked his first time up, switch hitting. Versatile defender, can play virtually anywhere. Inside, ball 1. Hitting .353 over his last 15 ball games.
You know, he was a favorite of Joe Madden when Joe was managing for the Tampa Bay Rays.
On the corner. A's tied a season high last night with the 3 home runs they hit. They've got 4 straight games, in fact, without hitting a round tripper. Zobrist clean single to left. That's the first hit for Oakland. Let's check in with Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Hey, you guys were talking about Ricky Henderson earlier. Of course, all the great stories about him. He used to have a frequent visitor in the clubhouse, Walt Weiss told me today, and it happened to be the one and only MC Hammer, who's also from Oakland, just like Ricky Henderson. But MC Hammer has a long, long history with the Oakland A's. His real name is Stanley Burrell, and Stanley was outside dancing around when Charlie O'Finley, the owner of the A's at the time, saw him. He caught his attention. Boy at one of the games. So he did. But the VP on his hat that you'll see there is because MC Hammer eventually ended up working his way up in the ranks, and they called him the VP. The team was falling apart at the time. Charlie O'Finley was living in Chicago. He needed some eyes and ears in the clubhouse and around the very small front office that they had. So he would use MC Hammer to call in reports every single night. So the guys in the clubhouse kind of joked and started calling him Pipeline when he would come into the clubhouse, because they knew whatever they were going to say or do would get back to the owner. Well, of course, Stanley eventually got that name MC Hammer because Reggie Jackson thought that he looked like Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank Aaron. So there comes the nickname. And of course, we all know what happened with his career. He went on to become a very famous singer. And Walt told me today that when he was playing for the A's, You Can't Touch This, MC Hammer's song, was the victory song here at the Coliseum. So pretty interesting how MC Hammer and his baseball knowledge and his growth here in Oakland interweaved in the history of this franchise. I know you're a big MC Hammer fan, Drew.
Big Hammer fan, but that was a story I didn't know. So thank you, Jenny. Billy Butler's at the plate. 2-1 up Butler. That's inside. 3-1.
I wonder when they stopped that MC Hammer Can't Touch This song, because I remember it blaring too many times when we were playing the A's. Right after the game. They do it in the clubhouse. They'd also do it out on these big speakers out here.
Full moon. Two. And Billy Butler pops it up foul ground, of which there's plenty of room, and Mike McHenry goes and gets the baseball.
And that is a prime example of a ball that is an out here in Oakland. It might not be an out in other ballparks. So many parks now have that home plate that has the luxury boxes and all these seats that come so close. But Michael's still running, doesn't have to worry about a fence. He's still 10 feet away. Don't be deceived by that 290 average. That's good. 5 home runs and 15 RBIs, but against lefties, he's hitting 362.
Ron Washington was bragging on Phegley. Said, This guy has a rare combination of the ability to hit with power, and a huge throwing arm behind the plate.
That's something you don't see anymore, how a guy can throw, because nobody takes the infield anymore. You used to know all the arms in the outfielders without even looking at a scouting report, because you'd watch infield practice. You know, that catcher can throw, and then pretty soon you get that reputation and don't run on him.
To short, and too low, gets it out of his glove, flips to DJ, and it's a 6-4-3 double play. We'll go to the 5th inning, still scoreless. De La Rosa pitching very well. Not much to recap. Both Chris Bassett and Jorge De La Rosa have been very, very good. One hit allowed against De La Rosa, or by De La Rosa. Chris Bassett has allowed 2 hits. And the pitches are identical through 4 innings, 56 apiece. In the 5th inning, the Rockies will have Ben Paulson, Mike McHenry, and Brandon Barnes, 6, 7, and 8 in their lineup. Again, the Rockies trying to snap a 14-game road losing streak in American League parks. The worst mark ever since interleague play began. The Dodgers in 05 and 06 lost 15 straight in American League parks. Rockies would rather not join the Dodgers in that grouping. That pitch is high. Pirates struggled between 09 and 2011.
On the other side, the A's are 4-1 in interleague play this year. They also have the fewest amount of interleague games at 5. The next closest is Arizona, Texas. They just have 6 each.
Foul tip, and it's 1-2. Well, the best interleague records all time: Yankees, Red Sox, Angels, then the A's. The White Sox also on that list. What do you notice there?
Top 5 American League.
All American League teams. Latter part of August, Bob Melvin in Oakland will go to Arizona. It'll be interesting for Bob to go back to where he managed with the D-backs. This ball is in a right center field, a base hit. Fold playing deep, cuts it off, and makes a very accurate throw to hold Paulson to a long single. So the Rockies, for the first time tonight, have the leadoff man aboard. And that'll bring up Mike McHenry.
Well, Ben reaches out for this ball and hits it into right center field. I mentioned Sam Folds' arm. You got a lot on that throw, considering he was going away from second base into that gap, but he used that momentum as a springboard for the throw.
Here's McHenry. Ground ball, just foul. You know, if we expanded that list of teams that have the best records in interleague play, it's not just the top 5 from the American League. The top 8 overall are all American League teams. Finally, a National League team shows up with the New York Mets in 9th, and then the St. Louis Cardinals right behind them in 10th.
I thought the Cardinals would have been higher on that list.
I would agree. Well, much bigger crowd tonight than last night. 19,206 last night. There were 12,125. That was their announced attendance. You said bigger cocktail parties. Wendy at home.
Still seems empty. You know what it reminds me of is the old Cleveland Stadium, this Mistake by the Lake, when they would even 20 or 30,000 in that ballpark. It didn't feel like there was anybody there.
You kind of make sure you were quiet. It felt, if you raised your voice, it felt like you were disturbing somebody. Ground ball toward the hole and on through past Brett Laurie. So now the Rockies have a little something going. 2 on, nobody out for Barnes. Back-to-back singles, Paulson and McHenry.
For Michael McHenry, he'll take that every day of the week, but I think we've seen the difference in this play from Brett Lowry and from a Nolan Arenado. How they make that play. You know, Nolan will catch that and start to turn a double play.
Hard play, though, isn't it?
It is a hard play. You know, he's going back at it, and they're not trying to beat him up. But I'm just saying that the route that he took was more of a straight across before he reached it. Nolan would have given ground that half step to get a little better hop. Well, Brandon, I think about laying down a bunt. Try it for a base hit.
Well, both corners think he may do that. They're creeping in. And that's foul. This is where Brandon, if he was hitting in a National League ballpark, hitting 8th, would never do that. Well, relaying the signs to Stu Cole. But you're in an American League ballpark, so you have DJ LeMay, who's been great, not good, but great with runners in scoring position, hitting behind him. So it's a completely different set of circumstances.
Different way you manage the game. Brandon should still do it again. Now he's going to square around. Let's go for the sacrifice. Well, he's trying to see what the A's were going to do. Were they going to run the wheel play like the Giants did 2 days ago with Chris Russin on the hill?
And when
or are they going to just play it straight up?
And when Russin executed that perfect slug bunt with the base hit to right, he did that on his own.
If you're Brandon, get that bat out in front of the plate. Okay, now you've surveyed what's happening. Stephen Vogt's crashing from first base. So you just bunt it down the third base line because you know the shortstop's not going over to third. You bunt it to third. His only option is to go to first base.
Doesn't get it down there. It's 1 and 2. If it was a pitcher, it'd be automatic. He'd still be bunting. With a position player, it's usually taken off. So let's go through the signs. In that situation, it's either taken off or nothing's revealed and it stays on, correct? It's not a fresh sign.
No, it stays on until I take it off if it's a bunt.
And it stays on. He had to work his way out of the way of that pitch.
For Brandon, this might have just been, I'm doing it on my own. I didn't get it done the first 2 times. I don't want to hit into a double play. And he gets that almost the same curveball that Troy got. One that's out of the side of the hand of Chris Bassett.
He's swinging and he fouls it off. This ball driven to center field, but it's right at Billy Burns. 1 out. That'll bring up LeMahieu, hitting .349 with runners in scoring position.
Fans Movie Night is back on Sunday, July 12th. All fans are invited to stay and watch The Rookie following the game against the Atlanta Braves. Purchase the Movie Night ticket package to access the field for the movie and receive a special blanket. Sunday, July 12th. Last game before the All-Star break.
DJ takes a strike.
Big variance in his fastball velocity. We see the last pitch was 93. We've seen some 92s. Then he struck out with Willeen with a 97.
That was impressive. So going and fetching 97. That slider's fouled off.
And he's only going on 3 days rest.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that.
Down in Oklahoma against Oklahoma City 3 days or 4 days ago on June 26th.
Which makes me wonder, you know, depending on how this inning unfolds, he's already around 75 pitches. And I see guys stretching, a number of guys stretching in the bullpen for Oakland. So he may be on that, 75 to 85 pitch limit.
He threw 85 in the AAA start. But then again, there was no indication other until after the game last night, because they had to take Sonny Gray to the hospital. He was hospitalized briefly with the flu. I'm sure they had a plan in place for him, but they didn't know if they were going to have to activate him or not.
And he gets a strikeout on LeMahieu. Now they're 2 outs. Paulson and McHenry still stuck at first and second.
No, that was a slider. 85. DJ Tardy on the swing. Can't believe he didn't hit it.
Blackman will try to come through with 2 outs. A line out and a fly ball to left for Charlie. He's had a big June. 34 hits, tied for 4th most in the National League in the month of June. pitcher's frame for Bassett at 6'5".
Good mechanics. Free and easy motion. He's from Ohio. That's why he stayed in state. Went to Akron.
Charlie battling away behind 1 and 2. Blackman a home run last night, his 10th of the year. Solo home run. Rockies' only run of the ball game off Evan Scribner. Charlie's hit over 300 in June. 11-game hitting streak snapped on Sunday. Came off the bench. He only had 1 AB.
Went in for the double switch late in the game.
Paulson at second, McHenry at first. And that's a base hit right center field. Paulson will score. McHenry will go to third with 2 outs. Charlie Blackman coming through. And the Rockies break on top in Oakland 1-0. That was a heck of an at bat.
Stayed back on the curveball.
Now batting.
Fouled off 2 fastballs prior to this and then got the hanging curveball and put it into right center field. The leg kick put the foot back down. And drops it in there. That's great news for Colorado because they're 21-10 when scoring first.
First and third, Blackman.
Big
real
lead.
Good wheels at first. Too low at the plate.
And a big lead. Sorry, Drew. He's looking for maybe steal a base. Although it's hard, though. Fegley, it's got an incredible arm. Throwing out 40% of would-be base stealers.
Bags for Blackman. Tulo a base hit his last time up, so he's got a 14-game hitting streak now. And he chases upstairs. It's 0-2.
Left-hander Eric O'Flaherty. 3 left-handers the A's have in their pen.
Blackman takes off, and Fegley throws him out. That was a perfect throw. Rockies get a run, 3 singles in the inning, a 2-out hit by Blackman. He got a perfect throw to throw on, too. know Braden Barnes a whole lot better. He'll take you to the tattoo shop and talk about his love for his family, his faith, and the art on his body. Also hear from his teammates about the energy that Brandon brings on and off the field. That's all this week on Rockies Real Time. Another great installment. That's Friday after the ball game. Rockies up 1-0. Drew Goodman along with Jeff Houston and Jenny Cavnar from O.co Coliseum in Oakland. And Jorge De La Rosa in the bottom of the fifth. We'll see Brett Laurie, Mark Canha, and Marcus Semien. And Dela's fastball on the edge for a strike. Laurie struck out swinging his first time. One of 3 strikeouts for De La Rosa. Ball cuts inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm just saying, no indication so far of that finger being a problem.
Nope. Hasn't even looked at it unless we've missed it.
I've been keeping a sharp eye on. He hasn't gone to it and just even peeked at it. Now maybe in between innings down in the dugout they're giving it a look.
Change up. Tulowitzki deep in the hole, needs help, and that one gets by Paulson. And good backup by McHenry, doing as he's supposed to do. Backing up that play, though. You really got a long way to run here in Oakland because of the vastness of the territory and foul ground.
This go down as a base hit. Troy came over the top. The ball cut on him. Worked away from Ben. Well, just a second hit tonight for the A's. Ben Zobrist with the other.
So here's the Cal product, Mark Canha. There's a strike. Ground ball to third his last time up.
Second among American League rookies with 8 home runs. Third with 26 RBIs.
A's are just 4-13 against left-handed starters, which is the second poorest mark in baseball. The Rockies actually have the worst mark. They're 3-12 against left-handed starters.
Take some of the big bats out of the lineup. Ike Davis, Josh Reddick from the left side. They're 31-31 against a right-handed starter.
This is not hit hard. See if the Rockies can turn to out at first base. 4-6-3. Tulowitzki with that big arm, able to get Mark Canha.
And a quick transition from DJ LeMahieu out of his glove. He didn't know it was hit off the end. 3 hops. DJ perfectly fed to Troy at second base, and then he clears himself and gets him by a quarter step.
Boy, that was pretty. Great execution both ways. 3 on the left side for Semien, the young shortstop, and he takes outside ball 1.
And as close as DJ was, all you want to do is float it up towards the shortstop. You don't want to feed it to him so hard that it catches him off guard. So you just kind of lob it like you would a lob in basketball.
This ball's pulled into the left field corner, and Semien will have a 2-out double. First extra base hit for either club tonight.
See some of that quick bat speed from Marcus Semien. 16th double this season.
Now batting right fielder, number 23, Sam.
Slider, cutter. He went down and got.
Two outs. That'll bring up the 9-hole hitter Sam Fuld, the only left-handed bat in the lineup tonight for Oakland. And after walking his first time, he takes strike one. Fuld is from New Hampshire. I see a lot of baseball players coming out of New Hampshire. And he went all the way across the country and played at Stanford, just about 45 minutes from here. Palo Alto. He was a 3-time All Pac-10 player at Stanford. That's right, it was the Pac-10 then, not Pac-12 yet.
A draft pick of the Cubs. Had the opportunity to work with Sam in the minor leagues. When he was first drafted, hurt his shoulder. Tore the labrum in his shoulder. So that was an injury he had to rebound from. Did a lot of hard work.
91 on the fastball, and Dela's now ahead 1-2. Fuld's not hitting much against left-handed pitching. Still a $118.
So just 2 for his last 14 with runners in scoring position.
Simeon in second, representing the tying run, put him away. 1-2.
College shift around big time in the outfield. Over to left field.
So he played his college baseball in the Sunken Diamond at Stanford. It's off of McHenry, and Simeon will move up. A wild pitch. Okay, it's 3-2. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke out that curveball, though. It's been sharp tonight. It looked like a split change.
Buried a splitter. Just pulled too hard when he came through in the rotation. Just yanked it out of the zone, out of the hand. Michael couldn't do much with it.
3-2 with 2 outs on Fuld. Simeon at third. And this is bouncer to first. Paulson to De La Rosa. Well executed, and De La Rosa gets out of it. So we'll move on to the 6th inning. The Rockies have the only run. Gonzalez. The Rockies' upcoming home schedule brought to you by Remax. Rockies won't be home till next week. They have Monday off. Then the Angels come a-calling. Mike Trout, Albert Pujols. Boy, Pujols hit a lot of long balls of late. They'll be in Tuesday and Wednesday. And then it's the Braves' first matchup this year between Colorado and Freddie Gonzalez's team. That'll be Thursday through Sunday. Fernando Rodriguez is going to take over for Oakland. After 5 innings from the emergency starter Chris Bassett working on 3 days rest. Bassett did a very nice job, allowed a run on 5 hits.
A pretty big arm for Rodriguez. Fastball average right at 94. Curveball, changeup, and will cut the fastball. Rodriguez, another one of those guys that's come back from Tommy John surgery. Missed all the 2013 season, recovering. Couple stints with the A's last year. Most of the time down in AAA.
Boy, Troy really climbed the ladder there, and he's gone. 1 out. Now to bring up Nolan. Arenado a base hit in the 4th inning to extend his hitting streak to 17 games. Rockies made a move in the minor leagues. Trevor Story, who's been really solid at AA in the Eastern League with New Britain, was moved up to AAA.
At 281, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs with AA New Britain in 69 games. Also had 15 stolen bases.
Well, when you master a level, you move along.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what the Rockies are doing with Story.
50 games at shortstop, 5 at third base, another 12 at second, a couple at DH.
So again, primarily playing short, but the Rockies moving him around, so he has a comfort level. The other spots in the infield, with the exception of first. Outside corner, a strike on Nolan.
They started that back in spring training.
He's a stout guy, physical guy. He's going to hit with some pop.
I know, talking to Spilly after he came back from calling out the names at the MLB draft. And then he went up to New Britain. He watched them for 3 games. Just talking to him, he said he was really liked the things that Trevor was doing.
One, 2 on Nolan. No swing. Look at Carr go on deck. Breaking ball. He went down and got that. I don't know how he got that. That was like a Dickerson type of swing. Right? Where Corey hits one that's about to bounce about 380.
Or has bounced.
Yeah, or has bounced. You're right.
That one didn't bounce. It was just below the knee towards the ankle. Unbelievable hand-eye coordination. That's the only thing you say. It's a gift.
And another curveball wasted. Well, he comes right over the top with it, doesn't he?
Big 12-6. I mean, those are the hard ones to see, because if he comes over the top, also with this fastball and then the curveball, you can't see the hand in the way the ball's coming out of it. Makes it hard to hit.
Yeah. See that on the tweet there during Toyota Talk, that Max George moved up to Asheville, the former Regis star, middle infielder.
I know Max had a great spring. This wasn't room for him initially in Asheville. Stayed down and extended. Went up to Boise. Continued to work hard. Great kid. Known him for a long time. Bucky and Cheryl, his parents, they raised their son right.
Grand Junction losing to Orem tonight 7-2. They're still playing. A couple more hits for Tyler Nevin. He's hitting over 300. And this ball's out of play also.
How about Jensen Park from UNC?
He has made a quick name for himself.
Had 3 hits just 2 nights ago. And the night that he only got 4 hits total.
10th pitch of the at bat upcoming. Brendan Rodgers tonight is 0 for 1. He's hitting 286. Was on base earlier and had a stolen base. Top pick for the Rockies. And Rodriguez wins that battle. He has struck out Tulowitzki and Arenado in succession here in the 6th.
Rockies dugout stores are the place for all things Rockies, with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets, plus exclusive new Peanuts bobblehead of the month. Get your gear on at the Rockies dugout stores.
Carr goes 0 for 2, a fly ball to center and a fly ball to left field. Sliced into the crowd foul. And Cargo chases away. It's 0-2.
Sometimes you tell pitchers to work down in the zone. Well, just the opposite for Fernando Rodriguez. He's working up in the zone.
He struck out the side. Middle of 6th, the Rockies leading the A's 1-0. Kavnar, log on to CFD/Rodeo/Keith Urban for an opportunity to win tickets to see Keith Urban in concert on the 25th of July at Old Cheyenne, summer's largest country music festival. Billy Burns will lead things off. 1, 2, and 3 for the A's against De La Rosa in the 6th. Dela's limited the A's to just 3 hits. 2 came last inning. Burns a fly ball to left field and a ground ball to third. Protecting against the bunt. In on the grass at third is Nolan. And an off-speed pitch is swung on and missed by Billy Burns. And that'll be a base hit to left. Well, if you've been late to the party, the Rockies made a couple of roster moves earlier today. Christian Bergman's been battling some shoulder fatigue. He was placed on the disabled list. The Rockies needed a long man. Johan Flande was brought back to the big leagues. John Axford was placed on the family medical emergency list. And Walt Weiss was quick to say it has nothing to do with the youngest son of John, who has been recovering from that rattlesnake bite suffered in March down in Scottsdale. Axford away from the team right now, and Justin Miller, who was up for a little more than a week a short time ago, is back with the club right now. Stephen Vogt took a strike. Keep an eye on Billy Burns, who can really run at first. And it's 0-2 on Vogt.
That's why Jorge's going with the slide step. Not giving Billy the chance to take off and steal a base. Billy with those 15 stolen bases trails only Jose Altuve of the Astros, who has 21.
And Jose's had to battle a hamstring injury of late.
We did that right before the Rockies played him.
Yeah, so it's curtailed the running game a little bit.
Lorenzo Cain with 15.
Brett Gardner
Lorenzo Cain had an encounter with Tal's Hill in Houston today. He went falling up it.
Who won?
Well, it didn't turn out good for Lorenzo. I don't think he got hurt, but it was not pretty.
And Tal's Hill will go away in the offseason. Bring that fence in, remove the hill. I'm sure all the center fielders in baseball are happy about that. Outside, 1-2 on Vogt. 13 home runs his first few years in the league, 13 home runs this year. Not behind the plate today. Playing first base. He getting more opportunities at first.
And he
recently.
He went to Bob Melvin and said, when there's a lefty on the hill, I don't mind playing first base so you can get Begley in the lineup. It's 11th start of the season at first. He had 40 in 2014, 68 games in the minors.
Earlier I said Fold was the only lefty. I forgot about Vogt. Two guys in there against De La Rosa, but again Ike Davis, Josh Reddick not in the lineup. They did a lot of damage last night in the 7-1 victory for Oakland, and this gets away enough that Burns alertly takes second, and that's a shame. That'll be a pass ball on Mike.
Was away, turned his glove over, but didn't look it all the way in. It'll happen just like it does to infielders. They start to peak when you know you have a fast runner.
Need a strikeout here if you can get one, and not only did he miss there, but Burns took off and swiped third. So now in a 1-0 game, the Rockies got a problem. It's first and third, nobody out.
2 of the 3 walks that Jorge has issued have come to left-handed batters. Stephen Vogt and Sam Fold in the third. Yeah, getting to the meat part of this lineup.
Zobrist,
yeah. Butler, and Vegley.
And Zobrist is 1 for 1 and a walk. On the inside corner for a strike. That's a strike also.
Hunt the strikeout of Zobrist. I think Butler up with the chance to double play. But first things first.
This is on the ground at third. Arenado's going to come home. Perfect throw to McHenry. They have Burns tied up.
And all the way back.
Yep. He did a good job, though. He stayed in that rundown long enough. Burns is the one who's going to stay at third. And Vogt, who got the third, will be out. But he stayed in the rundown long enough that Zobrist got the second.
You always hope that you can get the rundown done in just one, maybe two throws. Smart play from Nolan. You know you're not going to get the double play. It'll go down, and Jorge just runs them all the way back. Once you see both guys at the bag, you touch both of them. And it's the guy that was there originally. It's still his base.
Yep, it's the lead guy. So the Rockies will load him up now to try to produce a double play to get out of it. So Butler will be passed on and Fegley will come up. He's got to be careful with the intentional walk. What was the game we were watching last night where?
Oh, the guy with Tampa Bay threw it to the backstop.
On an intentional walk with a runner at third, and he scored.
Cleveland went on to win the game 7-1, so it, grand scheme, probably didn't matter, but still, those are the little things.
Yeah, at the time, it made it 4-1. Videla passes on Butler.
Fegley in his career, 2 for 8. The bases loaded. One of those two was a grand salami.
Well, tonight he's already hit into one double play. Walt Weiss would like to see another right here. 6th inning, the Rockies have the only run. They produced it in the 5th inning. An RBI base hit with 2 outs by Charlie Blackmon scored Ben Paulson, who had singled originally.
Stu Cole giving directions on how they want to hold guys on. Outfielders are playing a slight pull.
There's a strike. Josh Fegley out of IU, University of Indiana. Big power hitter in the Big Ten. Hit 17 home runs one year. This is slowly hit. It's got to go foul. That's a good decision by Paulson. And that's one of those deals. If you're up by 4 or 5 runs, you're going to come get it, get the out. In this situation where you're nursing that 1-run lead, you want the thing to go foul.
gut's telling you it's going to go foul, but you keep waiting, and then finally it does.
Scott Oberg starting to throw for the Rockies in their bullpen area. 2 strikes on Fegley. They go fastball away, and he strikes him out at 92. And that is out number 2.
Climb the ladder for the strikeout. Career strikeout number 999 for Jorge.
Good location with it, too.
He started Fegley off with a curveball down and away, and then finish him off fastball up.
Now you have Brett Laurie, strikeout and an infield hit.
I was just wondering what they're doing. They asked for the baseball. I don't know why. Another one, so there you go.
Pitch, and it's a 1-1 count.
The strike that popped out of the glove of Michael.
Still got knee check button. Must be a new glove, huh?
These are the one the dugout from the opposing team. Well, yeah, he couldn't even catch it. Well, you call him a strike, but it was. It hit the knees. Just hit off the thumb.
Good block, 2-1. Billy Burns at third. He originally singled. Zobrist at second, Butler at first. And that misses. It's 3-1. Obviously, you just saw there's nowhere to put Brett Laurie. Ground ball to third. Nolan's got it. Perfect throw to DJ. That ends the inning. Great pitching by De La Rosa. First and third, nobody out, and he works out of it, and the Rockies remain in front by a run. Mark, thanks very much. What a pretty night in Oakland. You guys have a full moon in Denver?
Probably.
Probably, wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
Just saying. Willeen Rosario against Fernando Rodriguez. He struck out the side in the 6th inning. Willeen 0 for 2, a ground out and a punch out. Well, it wasn't a low-scoring affair tonight in Albuquerque. The Isotopes beat Reno 16-5. They had an 8-run 5th inning. How about Matt McBride? He had his 11th home run. McBride had another 3 hits tonight. 5 RBIs. He's batting .347.
We talk about the Ubaldo trade when Drew Pomeranz came into pitch last night. Remember, Matt was part of that trade from Cleveland.
That is a base hit. So Willeen with a leadoff single here in the 7th in front of Ben Paulson. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's RocksWin at papajohns.com. Downtown Oakland.
Now batting, number 10, and Paulson.
Paulson has scored the only run for the Rockies, the only run of the ball game. Led off the 5th with a single. McHenry followed up with a base hit. With 2 outs, Charlie Blackmon brought him in with a base hit to right center. Walt able to use both Paulson and Rosario here in American League City. Ben at first, and Willeen is the DH.
That goes back to a couple starts that Willeen got at first base when maybe it was a right on right. So he wasn't just pinch hitting all the time before you came to this series.
Yep. So many things a manager has to think about. Trying to keep guys fresh.
Harder to do in the American League than it is in the National League. You can throw some guys up at DH. In the National League, you've got double switches. You'll have the starts. You pinch hit more in the National League than you do in the American League.
Strikes on Paulson. Fernando Rodriguez originally came up in 2009 with the Angels, got in 1 game there, and became a free agent, signed by the Houston Astros. On and miss. That's the 4th strikeout for Rodriguez. Young man from El Paso, Texas.
That's where he's born. That's where he lives today.
Number 8, Michael McHenry.
Hey, congratulations to the University of Buffalo's Tommy Murphy, good-looking catcher in the Rockies chain. Been named to the 2015 Pan Am team roster. That U.S. squad will be managed by Jim Tracy.
Those kids are in for a treat and some stories. Good to see Jimmy put a uniform back on.
Be a great influence on those young guys. Henry swings and misses. That's a called strike. Fernando Rodriguez, the top of his cap.
Looks like pine tar.
The bill of his cap. On one hand, you'd say, boy, it can't be that obvious. But he keeps going to it.
He'll lick his fingers and then go to the top of the cap. I don't understand it if he went to the dirt and grabbed some dirt and then went to the bill of his cap. See if he does it again. Rawson, no dirt. And he just puts his first two fingers on the bill of the cap. Those are the ones that he grabs the baseball with.
Those are the only two that matter. 2-2. Fly ball center field.
Number 1, Brandon Barnes.
Brandon Barnes 0 for 2. Lined out to center field his last time up.
Eric O'Flaherty once again throwing down in the A's bullpen. Second time tonight.
Couple strikes now on Brandon. That's punched through the right side, a base hit. McHenry's going to go first to third, and he's safe there. Or excuse me, Rosario's going to go first to third.
Hey, be aggressive.
Yeah, and that'll bring up LeMahieu.
Well, as a base runner, you know when the ball is not hit hard. That was off the label. Willeen knows that. He also knows that Sam is in right field. Yeah, if that throws on line, you'll get him. But for Willeen, I'm gonna go for this. We've only had one run tonight. Just put the pressure on the defense to make a play. They didn't. Now you have first and third for DJ. Two outs and runners in scoring position. How about a .419 average for DJ?
Pretty good. And this goes to the backstop. Here comes Rosario. He'll score easily. Wow. And it's 2-0 Colorado. How large was that?
How large was it first to go first to third?
Yep.
That's where it was large, because then the next pitch you score. If you don't, if you just shut it down, throw the anchor down at second, say I'm done, I'll wait for him to drive me in, you're not scoring, obviously. If it's a wild pitch, Phegley could not block it. And Moline hustling from first base. An all-important second run.
Well, Willeen's a former catcher that likes to run.
And that's doing your homework.
It's a big, big run. 2-0 Colorado now in the 7th.
And you move Brandon to scoring position at second base.
Ball, 1 strike.
Just looking down at the bullpen for the Rockies, Scott Oberg's still throwing. That would tell me that Jorge's night is finished. Well, maybe not taking the jacket off. I was just thinking if Jorge wasn't done, then why was Scott still throwing?
Edward Mejica has joined O'Flaherty in the Oakland bullpen. 94 pitches, by the way, for De La Rosa. From Rodriguez, and he's going to push Brandon Barnes back.
Huge lead at second base for Brandon. Already has created his angle 2 or 3 strides behind the bag. Created an angle to make the turn at third.
Two on DJ, a run in, another run possible, swung on and missed, and LeMahieu strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Fernando Rodriguez, but the Rockies get a run on a wild pitch by Rodriguez, and they now lead 2-0, middle of 7 in Oakland. Rockies ace Jorge De La Rosa tonight. So far, 6 shutout innings. He's allowed just 4 hits. He has struck out 4, one shy of 1,000 punch-outs in his career. And he was a magician in the 6th inning. He had first and third, nobody out, and he worked out of it without giving up a run. He'll begin the 7th inning with 94 pitches. Mark Canha, number 7 hitter in the lineup for Oakland, and he takes a curveball for a strike.
Give me over curveball. In addition to the strikeouts, Jorge also has 9 ground ball outs tonight. It's possible Walt's also trying to squeeze one more inning out of Jorge, because we said it a couple times tonight, John Axford is not here. So then you've got a choice of a few different closers. So we'll get maybe a look at that tonight. Canely or LaTroy or Raffy Betancourt.
Playing along with Walt, and what's got to go through his mind as Nolan makes that play. Marcus Semien coming up. LaTroy's been there, done that. Raphael's been there, done that. Betancourt. The best stuff of those 3, obviously, at this juncture, belongs to young Tommy Canely. But Tommy, in his last outing, probably wouldn't give the manager a ton of confidence right now, because he really struggled with his command.
We saw that the other day in San Francisco. He walked 3 guys. All 3 guys came around to score, but then he ends up punching out Buster Posey.
Yeah, you got to give him credit there for staring into the abyss and coming up with the 3-1 changeup to make it 3-2, and then the 3-2 changeup to strike out Posey to end the game. This is a high fly ball to right center field. Charlie Blackmon has it. 2 outs. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Tommy Runnels and Walt Weiss conferring. And part of the factor right now, he's already worked a 6-pitch inning. I would doubt they would send him out, assuming he can get fouled here. I don't think they'd send him out with 100+ pitches again. Steve Foster entering the conversation. He'll be back at the top of the order.
Well, not after he had to come out of his last start with the finger. He's had 102 pitches, 59 for strikes, but he has been 18 of 27 on first pitch strikes. That's helped him.
Well, one indication of what they're going to do is that Oberg remains up.
He hasn't sat down for 2 innings.
Which it doesn't necessarily. Sometimes you have a guy up in case somebody gets in trouble, a starter in an inning just to finish an inning. That's not going to happen here. It's going to be an easy play for Troy. Great inning for De La Rosa. Will it be Oberg to pitch the 8th? We'll find out. The most important thing is De La Rosa has given the Rockies a great outing tonight. As we go to the 8th, it's 2-0 Rockies.
On the X1 operating system.
Blackmon will lead things off. He is in third place in the National League when it comes to stolen bases. 21 stolen bases for him. He has a good mentor in Eric Young, the first base coach now for the Rockies. This day in history in 1996 for the Colorado Rockies, Eric Young stole 6 bags against the Dodgers. He stole 53 total bases that season. Charlie Blackmon, he stole 28 last year, and he has the chance to do big things this year. Here's EY on mentoring Blackmon.
He's doing it on his own. I can't really take any credit for it. He's really having a feel for when to go. And I remember one thing he said to me. He said, "I just need to run." I said, "Yeah, Charlie, you're thinking too much out there. You've done all the homework. You've already prepared. Once you get out there, you just react to what you've already studied." And this year, you're seeing more of that. You're seeing more aggressive.
Thing as Charlie Blackmon grounds out to the pitcher there. EY mentioning something very important about the philosophy of things. He had his own philosophy in stealing bases, and he can present that to Charlie, and Charlie can take that information on his own. But it was something EY said he had to learn as a coach last year, that Charlie might not necessarily have the same philosophy. So they've really kind of had to have that balancing act, and Charlie told me that he's really listened to EY. What a great teacher to have. But he's also created exactly what he wants to do on the base path. And guys, as you know, he takes a pretty big lead in baseball, and he's been really good at challenging pitchers when he does get on base.
The key to that whole conversation, I think, Jenny, that I took away from what EY said about Charlie, and we all know this to be true, that around the Rockies, nobody prepares like Charlie does. And he prepares in the running game just like he does looking at what he thinks he's going to see from a pitcher that given night. He's looking at moves. He's looking at, times to the plate, how often he buries it, his, how often a guy looks over typically. Charlie told me the other day, he goes, listen, when you have adrenaline going, we all fall into patterns. You could talk about varying stuff, but you start, when the adrenaline's flowing, a pitcher falls into the same patterns.
He locks up. The other thing I took from that is when you study as much as Charlie has, you then have no fear as a base runner. And that's a key for me. You can't be afraid to be thrown out, because if you do, then you'll just stay close to first and anchored there.
Big chopper to third. Laurie's going to throw out too low, 2 gone.
Just a few days left, so vote now for your Rockies All-Stars on your computer, tablet, or smartphone on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot exclusively at Rockies.com. Voting ends July 2nd. That's Thursday. And don't miss the 86 All-Star Game on July 14th. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Fox.
2 outs, nobody on. Nolan at the plate. 1 for 3 tonight. He has a 17-game hitting streak, and it's been revealed who will throw the 8th inning for the Rockies. Tommy Kahnle is now up in the bullpen, which means it'll be either Betancourt, most likely, or LaTroy Hawkins in the 9th inning. Right-handed hitters are hitting over 500 against O'Flaherty.
Well, he missed a month of time with the left shoulder strain. May 2nd, was activated back on June 2nd, but has appeared in only 6 of the 26 games since coming back.
And Nolan lines this ball to center field. It's going to stay up for Billy Burns. So 1-2-3 8th inning for Eric O'Flaherty. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Tommy Kahnle will try to preserve the Rockies' 2-run lead. Call on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw, Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. And by the Courtyard by Marriott, Western elegance in the cultural heart of the city. Rockies leading in the 8th inning, 2-0 in the city of Oakland. And in the bottom of the 8th, the Rockies will turn to Tommy Kahnle after 7 fine innings from Jorge De La Rosa. Tommy will take over. He'll face the top of that A's lineup: Billy Burns, Stephen Vogt, Ben Zobrist. And keep in mind, on the bench for Bob Melvin, he has a couple dangerous bats in Josh Reddick and Ike Davis.
Those guys will probably hang on to those until the 9th inning. We're not going to do it with some of the, you got the lefty and Vogt, and Zobrist, who's a switch hitter. But they're still in the back of Walt's mind, and he's going down that lineup card, looking at it, how we're going to play matchups. But for Tommy, don't worry about all of that. Worry about getting this leadoff hitter, the speedster, Billy Burns.
And a fastball high, ball 1. See Tommy's workload. 37 pitches that gave everybody a little indigestion on Friday, but Tommy, to his credit, found a way out of it. And this is on the ground to short, too low. Comes and gets it, boy. You know what? He had to do it, and that's where the preparation prior to a pitch. We talked about preparation with Charlie prior to a game. This is preparation prior to a pitch, knowing who's running. You did it for years in the big league. You got to know, all right, you know what, I can't sit back. I got to come get it, otherwise it's an infield hit.
And a slap hitter, so you'll cheat immediately, maybe a step on your setup, and this allows you to catch the ball right at the edge of the grass and get rid of it. Because if you don't, you see how close the play was at first base. Tommy, the first 2 guys, he's fallen behind 1-0. Use some of those guys that you have behind you. Use their gloves. That's what they're out there for.
1-0 on Stephen Vogt. Tommy pounds the strike zone there.
Kind of his go-to pitch when he's struggling with his command of his fastball is the changeup.
Yeah. Logan, just in case. 1-2. Swung on and missed. Kahnle strikes out. Vogt, 2 gone in the 8th inning.
Change up to start him off with the strike, and then a change up to end him with the strikeout. Turn that bad boy over and get the weak swing from Stephen Vogt. Fan Star Wars Night is back for the 2015 season on Saturday, August 22nd, with the pregame parade for fans in costume. Purchase a Star Wars ticket package to receive the 2015 limited edition Star Wars Night t-shirt.
The first pitch missed is ball 1 on Ben Zobrist. Zobrist a walk, a single, and he reached on fielder's choice. Playing second base tonight after spending the evening in left field yesterday. Fastball at 97, missed, 2-0. It's a base hit. Cargos will fire it back in, but Zobrist strides into second with a 2-out double.
Third guy had fallen behind. This time he went to the changeup, but it was up. Didn't have the bite and the fade that the strikeout that Stephen Vogt did. We got the ever dangerous Billy Butler.
Now, Butler homered to center field last night. Butler all of a sudden finds himself in a good place offensively, though tonight he's 0 for 2 and an intentional walk. Billy 3 hits yesterday. He had a double also. He takes a strike.
Billy reminds me of a right-handed hitter, Matt Stairs.
A little bit.
Matt hit left-handed, but similar build.
I think Billy tries to stay centered a little bit more than Matt. Matt was trying to hit the ball a mile and usually on the pull side. This ball's lined to right. Cargo up with it quickly. Here comes Zobrist. Here comes the throw to the plate. Safe. And it's 2-1. That's just good baseball. Butler a base hit. Zobrist around third, and a perfect throw from Cargo, who's close at the plate. But the slide just did beat the throw by Carlos.
Well, Cargo gave it everything he could on this throw. One hop.
Number 28, Eric Sogard.
You just wonder if Michael catches that in front of the plate instead of letting it travel further, then do you go back with the sweep tag? Maybe he thought that was the best way to get that because of the hop and where it was on the dirt grass portion. But that's now 143 two-out RBIs allowed by Colorado. The most in the major leagues.
Now batting the catcher, number 19, Josh Begley.
Billy Butler's come out of the game. Eric Sogard, who started at second base yesterday, is going to be the pinch runner. Josh Begley. 2 outs, nobody on. Double by Zobrist. Base hit by Butler. Sometimes there's an assumption you can run for a guy when you're looking for a stolen base. That's not necessarily the case. You have an extra base type of hitter at the plate, and on a double, Rob Melvin just wants to make sure that he has a runner at first that could potentially score. And the 1-0 is in there. It's 1-1.
Some managers will wait till they get to second base, and sometimes that's too late.
Yep. I mean, to me, if you're going to do it, unless you're really worried about taking that player out, you might as well do it when they're at first base. In the event you have an extra base hit.
Well, you don't have to worry about him going out and play the field.
No. That's 1-2. Fouled off again past Mike Gallego. 2-1 in the 8th inning. Rockies trying to end a 7-game slide this year against the American League. They're 0 for 7. And they've lost 14 straight in American League ballparks. team without a victory in interleague play this year.
Scott Sogard trying to sneak a peek in for the signs.
And a swing and a miss ends the inning. But a base hit by Billy Butler drives in Ben Zobrist to a doubled, and it's a one-run game as we go to the ninth. Cargo will lead it off when we return.
Voice.
You know what, Randy? He's a good man. He's worked hard. He's done a lot of Pac-12 baseball and working his way up that broadcasting ladder. He's going to do terrific things. Glad to have him aboard tonight.
He's keeping Spilly in check. That's all that matters.
Well, you know what? That's too much to ask.
Field line. You only hope to contain him. I think that's what it is.
Control the controllables.
Yes. Oh, Eric O'Flaherty out for his second inning of work.
Well, that's always been his specialty, handling left-handed bats. Two strikes on Cargo. Well, it's not Rafael Betancourt. It is the Troy Hawkins.
He started the year in the closer's role, and looks like he'll get the chance to try to close this one out in Oakland.
If the Rockies can get that run back. 2-1 ball game. Cargo gone. Struck out by O'Flaherty. Bob Melvin now come out and bring in a right-hander with Willeen Rosario coming up. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow at @RootsSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Veteran Edward Mujica will be next. But first a timeout. Rockies 2, A's 1. Back to Oakland after this. Use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. 1 out in the 9th inning. The Rockies up 2-1. Willeen Rosario now will face the former Padre, Edward Mujica. 21st appearance for Mujica. Righty's hitting .317, and Willeen 1 for 3 tonight. Right now, he has scored the go-ahead run. Led off the 7th with a single. Would eventually score on a wild pitch by Fernando Rodriguez.
Saw the numbers a moment ago on Mujica. Remember him for all those years down in San Diego. Last couple been out in Boston. Was designated for assignment back on May 8th, and then a day later traded over to the A's for some cash and a player to be named later.
How about this, Huey? Remember last night we were talking about the fact that the A's were plus 40 going into last night, and then after the 7-1 victory, plus 46 in run differential, which normally would suggest a team anywhere between 7 and even 10 or 11 games over 500 by that differential. One of the best marks in the American League. They were 10 games under 500. They're 9 after the victory yesterday. One of the reasons they have been absolutely abysmal in 1- and 2-run games, and you hope that trend continues tonight. Bob Melvin's team, a major league worst 6-19 in 1-run games, and that's what we're looking at right now.
That's why they're sitting 9 games under 500.
When it comes to blowout victories, they're basically better than anybody. Fouled off again.
Plus 46. It's second best in the American League, fifth, or in the American League West, fifth best in the American League, tied for 7th best in all of baseball.
Yeah, really an interesting figure. And 30 games decided by 2 runs or less, but they have 10 wins this year by 7 or more runs, which is tied with Toronto for the most in the game.
But that's where you have to delve deeper sometimes into numbers, because it's those close games that really determine which side you're going to be on, I think, in wins and losses. You pull those 2-1 games like the Giants. For so many years they've done that.
There are some, though, that subscribe in this era of sometimes over scrutiny of all numbers. There are some that believe that even more important than 1-run games is how often you produce blowout type victories, games that you win by 4 or more runs. Right now, if you're looking at the A's, the 1-run games have hurt them more than the blowout victories have helped them, clearly. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Ben Paulson. So LaTroy Hawkins in the 9th inning will see Brett Laurie, Mark Canha, and Marcus Semien. Those are the 3 scheduled. But you have Davis and Reddick at the ready if you're Bob Melvin.
Ben Paulson.
I think at least one of those will hit for Semien. And maybe somebody hits for Canha. Josh Reddick hits for Canha, and then Ike Davis for Semien.
Oh, and 2 on Paulson. Then a single in the 5th inning would come around to score the Rockies' first run. Foul tip is held, so we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. LaTroy Hawkins will try to close it out. The Rockies leading the A's in Oakland 2-1. hits the A's with 6. LaTroy Hawkins will try to close it out. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink link to what's next. Again, no television tomorrow afternoon, and we'll resume on Thursday in Arizona as the Rockies begin a 4-game set against the Diamondbacks. Monday's an off day. The Rockies begin a homestand Tuesday against the Angels of Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. And then the Atlanta Braves are in town for 4. And then the All-Star game. You kidding me? It's already here. So LaTroy Hawkins, who began the year as the Rockies closer, blew a couple of saves, then had an arm situation, biceps tendonitis. He went on the disabled list. And Adam Ottavino did such a great job closing. Unfortunately, as you know, you all know Adam went down with an elbow injury and had to have Tommy John surgery. So now LaTroy with John Axford, who's been marvelous in that role. John not with the club right now. So LaTroy will try to preserve this 2-1 lead, and Josh Reddick is going to pinch hit leading off the 9th inning. Yesterday in the first inning, he hit a 2-run home run against David Hale.
In his career, 0 for 2 previously against LaTroy.
Quickly, it's 0-2. Reddick pinch hitting for Brett Laurie.
Bob Melvin not wasting any time. I thought he'd let Brett hit.
Well, it's kind of an American League philosophy, Huey. He's going to have Canna hit, and then Ike Davis, I'm sure, is going to pinch hit for Simeon. He's like, you know what? I'm going to find somebody who may hit one over the wall. He's going to go with 3 boppers. Outside, and it's 2-2. Reddick among the American League leaders in RBIs with 48. He's typically a pull hitter. Rockies have the shift on. And this is grounded right into it. Tulo's got it, 1 out.
Perfectly placed for the infielders.
Yeah. So LaTroy gets the ground ball, and now Mark Canna will hit.
Now batting left fielder
Jorge De La Rosa
Mark Canna
with an ERA south of 3 in his last 8 outings. I mean, he's doing his part. About the only thing De La didn't do tonight, Jeff, was produce his 1,000th strikeout. He came up one short.
He just has to wait until his next start. He'll be in Arizona on Sunday. He also has the 2nd best road batting average against in the major leagues. It's at 167. Only Trevor Bauer is lower at 164.
Again, De La, 7 shutout innings, allowed only 4 hits tonight. He was terrific. Falls behind, 2-0.
LaTroy, 125 career saves. The one he has this year was way back on April 7th. Let's get that 2nd one tonight and end that interleague string.
Two and 1. But the only ballpark Hawk hasn't thrown in is like the Polo Grounds.
He's thrown in all the old ones, all the new ones.
Yeah. I was walking down the hall with them today from the clubhouse, and we're looking at some of the old photos on the wall. You remarked there's not a lot's changed around here.
It's still the same paint they had back when he broke in the league.
High pop up on the infield. Troy Tulowitzki territory. Tulo's got it. They're 2 outs in the 9th. And it will be Simeon.
Now Shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
And you know, that may be because they pinch ran Sogard. So if they lose Semien and the game got tied up, they really wouldn't have anybody to play. And Laurie was pinch hit for. They wouldn't have anybody to play short.
Well, you could slide Zobrist over to short.
Trying to figure guys out. You're going to need a third baseman too, right? More importantly, who cares?
Forget it. Yeah, who cares? Because you got 2 outs.
You got 2 outs.
Finish them off here and go shake hands.
And that would be Oakland's problem, and we hope it's not one that we have to worry about. 1 ball, 1 strike, and another quick strike. It's 1-2 on Semien.
And the quick pitch from LaTroy where he fakes like he's going to go into a pause and then just fires a baseball.
Yeah, I love when he does that. Obviously, he can only do it when nobody's on. And he does it again. It's fouled off. A lot of times when guys do that, they'll throw a changeup off of it. You were describing that yesterday.
It's hard to time that as a hitter. He's quick to the plate, then throws a changeup. What do? How do you react? Try to slow your body down. It doesn't happen. You're out in front.
Here's the 1-2, and it's lined to Nolan, and that ends the ball game. It also ends the streak. The Rockies prevail in Oakland 2-1, and they snap the 14-game slide in American League ballparks, and they win for the first time this year against an American League club. They're now 1-7. The Rockies have defeated the A's 2-1. LaTroy Hawkins, a 1-2-3 ninth inning for his 2nd save of the year. De La Rosa gets the victory. He's now 5-3. And Chris Bassett, who made the emergency start and actually pitched very well, takes the loss. He is 0-1. Once again, the Rockies have defeated the A's 2-1 this evening in front of 19,206 at the COL Coliseum.
Great game.
And now let's get you to our Denver studios. It'll be a happy recap on the Twitter postgame show. Here's Mark.
Good job, McAdoo. Good win. Elbow, Mac.